Picture this. You open your eyes to dim light filtering through a lattice of carved wood. The air smells of rosewater, stale incense, and the faintest trace of damp stone. 1,000 silk cushions surround you, soft enough to sink into, but somehow offering no comfort. You try to sit up, ankles tangled, neck stiff. Sleep lingers in your bones like cold fog. You are inside an Ottoman imperial harem. Spoiler, you are not a concubine. Congratulations, you're not exactly safe either. The year is 1701. You have no phone, no map, no helpful subtitles. You are a guest, let's call it that, in one of the most powerful and secretive courts of the early modern world. What's a harem, really? Not a party, not a scandalous den. Mostly it's an institution. The private quarters of the Sultan, a fortress inside a palace, sealed from the outside. Housing hundreds of women, concubines, mothers, daughters, servants, each entangled in a web of etiquette, hierarchy, and ruthless survival. Well, you'll see if you last until sunset. Because the harem is not what it seems. The air here is heavy with silence. Warmth, none. Privacy, none. Hope, a sliver. And yet every fabric, every footstep, every whispered word here carries centuries of imperial power. Behind gilded screens, wars begin and end. A glance means fortune, a misstep, oblivion. Don't worry, you'll have a guide, your own senses, and me, your narrator, who will try not to laugh too loudly when you blunder through centuries of protocol you don't know exist. Let's begin. Slowly. Breathe. You'll need your breath. And if, by the end of this long night, you're still awake, well, that's your own choice. Now. The latticework shimmers. Somewhere beyond, a eunuch's sandals whisper across marble. It's time to wake up. Picture this. You are lying on a divan, its cushions deep and perfumed. The scent is overpowering. Rose oil layered over musk, laced with cloves. Sweet, heavy, too much. Your head aches. Your mouth is dry as dust. You shift slightly. Silk rustles beneath your skin, cool and slippery. The air is humid, despite the early hour. Somewhere nearby, water drips in slow, hollow beats. Drip, drip, drip. A single strand of sunlight pierces the wooden lattice above you, painting a thin gold line across your arm. You blink, trying to clear the sleep from your eyes. You do not know this place. The room is long and narrow. The walls rise high above you, covered in Iznik tiles, blue, white, green. They shimmer faintly, as though the walls themselves are alive. The patterns are intricate. Tulips, carnations, abstract vines spiraling toward heaven. Your first breath is cautious. The air tastes of stone and flowers, old wood and forgotten spice. Beneath it all, a faint metallic tang lingers, as if something sharp waits, just out of sight. You sit up slowly, the cushions sinking beneath you like quicksand. A pale embroidered shawl slides from your shoulders to your lap. You gather it absent-mindedly, fingers tracing the threadwork. The design is strange, neither wholly geometric nor fully floral. Spoiler, it was stitched by a woman whose name you will never know. Congratulations, you're wearing it now. Your heart pounds faster. The pulse echoes in your ears. You are not alone here. From the shadows near the doorway comes a soft cough, deliberate, measured. You turn. A man stands there, silent as the dawn. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in rich black robes with silver edging. His head is shaved smooth. Around his waist, a slender dagger rests against a jeweled belt. His eyes meet yours, unreadable. A eunuch. One of many who guard the harem. He inclines his head slightly, neither greeting nor dismissal. A single word escapes him, spoken in a voice as flat as marble. Gel. Come. You glance around, looking for shoes. None. Only soft leather slippers, half hidden beneath the divan. You slide them on, heart hammering. The floor is cool beneath your feet. polished marble veined with red and gray. The eunuch waits, patient, unmoving. You are expected to follow. Another breath. You rise. The air outside the chamber is even thicker. Incense hangs in drifting clouds. Voices murmur behind closed doors, the words too soft to catch. Somewhere the high metallic notes of a kanun float through the halls. The corridor narrows. Screens of gilded lattice filter the dim light. You pass beneath an archway inscribed with flowing Arabic script. You cannot read it. Spoiler: you will not be given the chance to learn. Ahead, the eunuch stops beside an ornate wooden door. He raps softly, once, twice, 3 times. A pause. The door opens a fraction. Another eunuch peers out, eyes sharp. A glance is exchanged, a silent code, and then you are ushered inside. This chamber is larger, filled with low couches and tall lamps. 4 women sit in a loose circle, embroidering fine cloth. Their gazes flick toward you, then away. Not curiosity, not welcome, judgment. They are beautiful, each in her own way. Not dazzling, controlled. Their movements are measured, graceful as practiced dance. They wear silk robes in pale hues, hair coiled in elaborate knots. One woman, older, her eyes rimmed with kohl, sets her work aside. She studies you openly. A nod, barely perceptible. You are to remain, for now. The eunuch withdraws, the door closing softly behind him. You are in the antechamber of the harem proper, a place of waiting, watching, learning. You understand none of the rules, but they will understand that you do not, and they will remember. A young girl scurries past you, balancing a tray of fruit and sweetened water. You reach for a cup, hesitantly. The first sip is cool relief. The second burns slightly, rose water and sugar, sharp on your tongue. In the corner, an old servant, faceless in her anonymity, mends a tear in a velvet curtain. Her hands are steady despite their age, a lifetime spent unseen, unheard. You are still blinking away the remnants of sleep when the older woman gestures for you to sit. You obey, slowly. The cushions sigh beneath your weight. A question hums in your mind. How many others have sat here, uncertain, unwelcome? Outside, the first full rays of sun strike the tiled walls. The patterns come alive. Blue flares to sapphire, white to gold. The room seems to breathe with light. And now you wait. Wait to be summoned. Wait to be judged. Wait to be something or nothing in the unseen hierarchy of this secret world. And as the morning deepens, the thin perfume of roses grows stronger. And so, beneath a ceiling painted with stars, you sit, breathing, waiting, watching, and the day has only begun. Picture this. You are still seated, ankles tucked beneath the embroidered robe that smells faintly of lavender and mothballs. The older woman, who has neither introduced herself nor smiled once, gestures again. This time you rise. No words. You simply follow as she moves through another carved doorway, her slippers whispering against the tiles. You pass under another arch. This one bears a different inscription, smaller, subtler. Another reminder that this place is layered with meanings you cannot read. The air shifts as you walk deeper into the harem. Warmer, wetter. A faint, constant dampness clings to your skin. The humidity curls your hair at the nape of your neck, slicks your palms. You swipe them against your robe instinctively. It doesn't help. No breeze, no respite. The older woman pauses in a long, dim corridor. Arched windows are shuttered with intricate wooden screens. Mashrabaya, carved to let in light but block the gaze of outsiders. Slivers of sun pierce the gloom. You glimpse dust motes hanging in the air like tiny spirits. You move on. The private chambers of the harem are a maze. Long halls, abrupt staircases, hidden doors. Every wall is a canvas. Bright Iznik tiles, faded frescoes, delicate calligraphy. Some halls smell sharply of lemon and vinegar, an attempt at cleanliness. Others reek faintly of mildew. And always, the warmth. Oppressive. Relentless. You pass through an open courtyard where a narrow fountain trickles beneath citrus trees. The water looks cool, inviting. Spoiler, it is not for drinking. Congratulations. You've avoided a week of intestinal misery. In this climate, Istanbul's humid summers and clammy winters, the air inside these thick stone walls rarely feels fresh. Ventilation is poor. Mosquitoes breed in every stagnant basin. Silver incense burners stand in the corners, not for beauty, for smoke, to drive insects away, poorly. As you enter another chamber, the first sting catches your ankle, then another, and another. Fleas. They thrive in the cushions, in the seams of the silk divans, in the folds of robes left too long unworn. You glance down instinctively, brushing at invisible assailants. The older woman notices. Her lips twitch, not quite a smile. You are not the first to suffer. You will not be the last. Another corridor, darker now. The air smells of wax and damp stone. Here the walls close in. The ceiling lowers. Your breath quickens. The older woman turns suddenly into a small chamber lit by a single oil lamp. This is your assigned space. Room is too generous a word. It is a niche, a low wooden platform with a thin mattress, a chest for belongings, and a single shelf where a bronze mirror leans against the wall. The mirror is tarnished. Your reflection shimmers faintly, distorted. You blink at yourself. Your skin already shines with sweat. The robe clings uncomfortably. Beneath the platform, you hear a faint rustling. Mice. Cockroaches. You choose not to find out. A single slit window admits a weak shaft of light. Through it, you glimpse nothing but another wall. No sky, no horizon. Privacy, none. A faint cough sounds outside your door. No lock, no bolt. You will never truly be alone here. A low table holds a shallow brass basin. Water has been left for you. Slightly cloudy, cool to the touch. A strip of linen rests beside it. You wash quickly, the damp cloth a brief relief against your overheated skin. It does not last. By the time you finish, your neck itches again. You scratch absently. Bedbugs, perhaps. Common here despite efforts. The imperial court can command armies, but not banish parasites. A soft knock. The older woman returns, accompanied by a younger servant. They carry a folded linen bundle, fresh bedding. You step aside as they strip the platform and replace the thin mattress. They move with practiced speed. You catch the younger girl's eye, a fleeting glance. Her face is blank, careful. You say nothing, neither does she. And then they are gone. You sit again, pulse slowing. Your first clear thought: how do they endure this? Heat, damp, insects, stifling closeness. A life where air, space, even one's own body is never entirely one's own. In the corner, you notice a small cloth bag hanging from a peg. It holds dried lavender and wormwood, meant to repel lice. A gesture, nothing more. You lie back on the platform, arms at your sides, staring up at the low painted ceiling. The colors are faded, stars barely visible. Your mind drifts. Will anyone explain the rules to you? Will anyone warn you of the unspoken dangers? Spoiler: they will not. Congratulations. You have begun to learn that already. Somewhere nearby, a child begins to sing. Soft, high, wordless. The sound weaves through the corridors like smoke. And so the hours pass, slowly, and the sun continues its climb, unseen behind stone and screen. Picture this. You awaken to a new sound, a soft knock. Then the door creaks open just enough for a hand to slip through, placing a folded towel and a shallow porcelain basin on the low table. No words. No face. The door clicks shut again. You sit up, groggy, skin damp with the heavy, sticky sweat of another stifling night. The thin linen bedding is bunched beneath you, clinging uncomfortably. You peel it away, swing your legs down to the cool stone floor. Your first full breath of the day tastes of dust, faded incense, and your own stale sweat. Spoiler, glamour fades fast. Congratulations. You've begun to smell exactly like everyone else in here. You run your fingers through your tangled hair. The strands stick, heavy with humidity. No comb in sight. You glance toward the table. The basin holds water, murky, with faint floating flecks. You frown. But what choice do you have? Water in the harem comes from cisterns and narrow lead pipes. Sometimes fresh, often not. Filtration? A dream. You dip a corner of the towel, wipe your face, neck, arms. The coolness is fleeting. A minute later, your skin is damp once more, this time with fresh sweat. Cleanliness is a constant battle here, one you are destined to lose. The basin also serves another purpose. There are no private bathrooms here, not as you know them. Another knock. This time a middle-aged woman enters, stout, unsmiling, bearing a lidded brass pot. Without a glance at you, she replaces the basin, takes the used towel, and leaves. Toilets in the harem are communal, sparse, and uninviting. Down a side corridor lies a row of narrow stalls, stone seats with keyhole openings, a faint trickle of water beneath. The air there is sharp with ammonia and sour damp. You hold your breath as you enter. No privacy, no luxury. A small stack of linen scraps sits nearby, for wiping. No paper, no soap. You do what must be done as quickly as possible. And the flies? Omnipresent. Bold. When you return to your chamber, another servant has left a fresh towel in a tiny clay jar. Scented oil. Jasmine, thick and sweet. Not for pleasure. To mask the inevitable odors of the day. You dab it behind your ears, at your wrists. The fragrance blooms around you, mingling with sweat and stone. Nearby, you hear the hiss of a brazier being lit, water being warmed for the older women's baths. You will not be invited. Only favored concubines and the most senior women enjoy the rare luxury of the hammam, the imperial bath. Your own cleansing will remain cursory, inadequate. A rhetorical question floats through your mind. How did anyone emerge from this place still human? Perhaps they didn't. You glance again at the tarnished mirror. Your reflection looks back. Pale, wide-eyed, hair frizzed by damp air. Not elegant, not composed. You smooth the robe, stand straighter. Appearances matter here. Even the smallest signs of dishevelment can invite mockery or exclusion. A whisper behind your door. You freeze. Two women pass by, their conversation soft but sharp-edged. A name is spoken, followed by a harsh laugh. The politics of the harem begin at dawn and never sleep. You exhale slowly. Through your narrow window, a shaft of light creeps across the floor, golden and weak. Morning has fully arrived. And you? You are clean, almost. Presentable, barely. Ready? Not even close. But the day is moving forward, whether you wish it to or not. And soon, the summons will come. Picture this. The summons comes sooner than expected. A sharp rap at your door. The same eunuch from before. Impassive, unreadable. He inclines his head once, turns. You follow. Through corridors dim with incense and dust. Past heavy curtains, beneath low arches. The heat swells with each step. Finally, a broad chamber filled with soft morning light. This is not the Sultan's table, nor even the favored concubines. It is where lesser women of the harem take their meals. You are among them, for now. No grand feast awaits. Forget the opulent banquets of paintings and legend. Here, meals are practical, controlled. You sit on a low cushion beside a long wooden tray placed on the floor. Others file in, some young, wide-eyed, others older, guarded, with the weary grace of survivors. No words greet you. Only glances. A rhetorical question flickers through your mind. Is there any meal here free of silent judgment? Spoiler, no. Congratulations. You'll develop a thicker skin, or not eat much at all. Servants enter carrying brass pitchers and shallow dishes. The smell reaches you first. Warm bread, sharp olives, tang of sheep's cheese. Breakfast begins. The tableware is simple. Glazed ceramic bowls, chipped in places, tarnished copper spoons, rough cloths for hands, no forks, no knives for you. The hierarchy dictates who uses what. A large, round flatbread, pied, is torn by hand and passed around. You follow suit, fingers brushing against another's for an instant. A sharp look reminds you, no such touches go unnoticed. The bread is warm, soft inside, its crust singed with wood smoke. You take a cautious bite, comforting, grounding. Next, a dish of olives, black, briny, dense with salt. You pluck one delicately, trying not to wince at the intensity. Slices of beyaz peynir, white cheese, rest on a platter. You taste a corner, creamy, sharp, slightly sour. Good. It cuts through the heaviness of the bread. A bowl of honey appears, thick and amber. You watch as a woman dips her bread with practiced grace. You mimic her, the honey clinging in golden threads. The sweetness hits hard, your first true pleasure of the day. Then, stewed figs, dark and rich. Their flesh melts on your tongue, leaving a lingering warmth. A brass pitcher is tilted to fill clay cups. Water, faintly metallic, cooler than expected. You drink deeply, the taste both strange and essential. No coffee. Not here, not now. That luxury belongs to the Sultan's private circles. Your fingers grow sticky. You wipe them on the cloth provided, careful not to seem rushed or greedy. Every gesture is watched, every choice noted. Across from you, a girl of no more than 12 breaks her bread with trembling hands. Her eyes dart constantly. New, like you. You offer the faintest smile. She does not return it. The meal proceeds in near silence, broken only by the soft clink of dishes, the rustle of silk. Conversation is rare here, too risky. Words can be twisted, meanings overheard. One older woman, gray streaking her hair, a thin scar across her cheek, eats slowly, deliberately. A survivor. You note her movements, her calm, something to learn from. When the meal ends, servants clear the trays swiftly. Leftovers vanish, nothing wasted. Clean hands are expected. Another pitcher arrives, rose-scented water to rinse your fingers. You comply, the floral scent clinging stubbornly. You stand when the others do, following their lead. A glance from the older woman lingers a moment longer than the rest. Approval, perhaps, or warning. The chamber empties. You return to your narrow room. Your belly is no longer hollow, but hunger is the least of your challenges here. The day stretches ahead, layered with unseen dangers, veiled intrigues, silent tests. And soon you will face the next of them. For now, the faint sweetness of honey lingers on your tongue, and the heavy air presses close once more. Picture this. You sit alone in your narrow chamber. A knock breaks the stillness. This time it is not the eunuch. A pair of older women enter, faces lined with patience worn thin by years. One carries a folded bundle of cloth, the other, a small wooden box. They regard you coolly. No words, no questions, only purpose. You rise, instinctively. Spoiler, choice isn't part of the wardrobe process. Congratulations. You're learning to move when told. They unfurl the bundle on your platform bed. Layers of silk and cotton gleam in the dim light. The fabrics here are exquisite, but not free. Every thread speaks of rank, of favor, of danger. Your robe, plain, serviceable, must be replaced. You slip it off carefully, modesty fading beneath necessity. The air prickles against your damp skin. First comes an undergarment. Thin, soft cotton. It clings uncomfortably in the humid air. Over this, they fit a second layer, a long tunic of fine muslin, embroidered at the cuffs and hem. The stitches shimmer faintly with metallic thread. Spoiler, someone else's needlework will always touch your skin here. Congratulations. You can admire it, but never claim it. A wide sash is wound around your waist, snug, binding. You exhale carefully. Then the outer robe. Rich silk, dyed deep indigo, patterned with gold vines. It rustles faintly as you move. Heavy, beautiful, and stifling. The older woman opens the wooden box. Inside, jewelry. Not grand. Simple adornments permitted to women of lesser standing. You are handed a pair of delicate silver earrings. You fumble briefly, earning a small, tight-lipped sigh. The woman takes them back, fixes them herself. Next, a thin bracelet, cool against your wrist. You glance down. A tiny motif of stars is etched along its edge. A silent reminder. Everything here is symbolic. You will understand some symbols too late. Finally, your hair. One woman produces a fine-toothed wooden comb. The older takes your damp, tangled hair in firm hands. No gentleness. Each stroke pulls sharply, though you do not protest. You sense this is another test. When the knots are gone, she twists your hair into a low, coiled bun, securing it with slender pins. No loose strands. Precision matters. A final touch. A veil of gauzy silk, draped lightly over your shoulders. Not to conceal, to signify. You are presentable, proper, marginally acceptable. Across the room, your tarnished mirror offers a dim reflection. You study it. You look the part now, polished, composed. But beneath the layers, your heart beats fast. A rhetorical question floats up. How many here wear their survival like a second skin? Answer: nearly all. You smooth your robe, adjust the sash. The older women nod once, approving. They gather their things and leave as silently as they came. The door clicks shut. You are alone again, clothed in silk and caution. Beyond the chamber walls, voices drift, laughter low and guarded. The game of appearances has already begun, and soon you will be called to play your part. For now, the weight of the robe grounds you, and the air grows warmer still. Picture this. Mid-morning light now slants through the mashrabia screens, striping your chamber floor in pale gold. You sit waiting, wrapped in indigo silk that feels heavier with each passing minute. Then, another knock. Firmer this time. The eunuch enters, expression unchanged. He gestures sharply. You are to follow. Spoiler. No explanations accompany these summons. Congratulations, you're learning to move first. Question later. Through familiar halls you go, then unfamiliar ones. The air shifts subtly. Less incense, more stone. You pass through a broad arch flanked by silent guards. Beyond it lies a courtyard open to the sky. Your breath catches. The first true sight of sun and air since your arrival, and the first sight of the outer world's edges. The courtyard bustles. Eunuchs in dark robes, servants balancing baskets, a few favored women flanked by attendants, and transport. Wooden litters draped with heavy curtains, large wheeled carts for goods, and standing near the far gate, a pair of elegant arabas, horse-drawn carriages with curved roofs and narrow windows. Your gaze lingers too long. The eunuch clears his throat. You lower your eyes. Today, you will travel within palace walls, and perhaps beyond. Not alone, always under watch. You are guided toward one of the litters. The bearers, strong men in plain dress, stand ready. You climb in awkwardly. Cushions beneath you shift with each movement. The curtain falls shut. The world narrows to filtered light and muffled sounds. A jolt, then motion. The litter sways rhythmically as the bearers move through unseen passages. The air inside grows stifling. You fight rising nausea. The procession pauses. Voices outside, low, clipped Turkish. Then movement again. You sense a change. The sounds grow louder. Smells shift. Smoke, spices, animals. You are leaving the inner palace. The litter halts once more. This time the curtain lifts slightly. A eunuch's voice speaks softly. Kapalakarsi. The grand bazaar. Not for shopping, for show, for presence. Certain women of the harem are paraded through public spaces, seen, admired, envied, a display of imperial power veiled in silk. You will not walk. You remain within your curtained cage. The litter moves slowly now, through winding streets paved in worn stone. Crowds murmur nearby. The smells are dizzying. Roasting meats, sweating bodies, dung, perfume. A rhetorical question hums in your mind. How fragile is the barrier between silk and filth? Answer. A single step. You peer through a narrow gap in the curtain. The world outside blurs past. Merchants hawking wares. Children darting between stalls. Men glancing sideways at the passing litters. And dangers. Pickpockets. Spies, enemies of the court. The streets of Istanbul teem with life and threat. Your procession moves swiftly, flanked by armed guards. Even so, a sudden shout splits the air. The litter jerks sideways. You grip the cushions, heart racing. A scuffle outside. Shouts, thuds. The litter rocks violently. Then calm. The curtain is yanked fully shut. The bearers resume their measured pace. Spoiler: someone outside learned the hard way not to interfere with the Sultan's women. Congratulations, you remain untouched this time. The litter turns, the noises fade. Soon you re-enter the palace's shadowed corridors. The air cools, the swaying ceases. You emerge shaken, legs unsteady. The eunuch observes silently, then gestures toward a side hall. You follow on trembling feet. The dangers of the road, even the shortest, are clear now. Silk offers no shield, and this lesson will stay with you for a long, long time. Picture this. The litter ride left you shaken, but not broken. You return to your narrow room, where air lies thick and still. But the harem's pulse never rests. Soon a servant appears, young, expression blank. She gestures, come. Spoiler, refusal is not an option. Congratulations, you'll master obedience through repetition. You follow through maze-like corridors until the air changes again. Wider spaces, brighter light. The harem overlooks vast palace courtyards, and beyond them, Istanbul itself. Here, from a screened gallery, you're given a rare sight, the working world below. You press closer to the mashrabia screen. Through its filigree, the city unfolds. Sunlight glints off the Bosphorus beyond tiled rooftops. Narrow streets bustle with life, and everywhere, work. Endless, exhausting work. Peasants arrive at the palace gates with carts piled high. Produce, firewood, woven goods. Faces browned by sun, hands calloused by endless toil. A man hauls sacks of grain on stooped shoulders. Each step is a battle. Sweat runs in muddy streaks across his back. Another drives a donkey laden with clay jars. The beast stumbles. He shouts, striking its flank. The jars shudder but hold. Women kneel in the dust, sorting herbs and roots. Their fingers move swiftly, mechanically. A child nearby sneezes, ignored. Spoiler: peasant life offers no pause for illness. Congratulations, you're safe, for now. Craftsmen labor in shaded stalls just beyond the palace walls. You glimpse flashes of their world. A smith hammers glowing iron, sparks leaping like fireflies. His bare arms glisten, each blow ringing through stone streets. Nearby, a woodcarver bends over delicate panels, blade whispering through grain. His focus is absolute. A single slip could ruin hours of work. Weavers sit at massive looms, shuttles flying back and forth. Threads blur in rhythmic motion, forming patterns too complex for your untrained eye. A potter spins wet clay with calloused fingers, shaping vessels that will soon bear the harem's honey, oils, perfumes. These are not the artisans of courtly tales. They labor under quotas, taxes, and the sultan's insatiable demands. Outside your screen, the smells drift upward: sweat, smoke, sun-warmed earth. The sounds: hammering, shouting, the whinny of overworked beasts. A rhetorical question stirs. Would you trade silk and shadow for sun and sweat? Perhaps, but neither life is free. You lean closer. A young boy runs past, arms full of fresh bread. His grin is swift, fleeting. Moments of joy are rare currency here. The gallery shifts with movement. Another harem woman arrives, her perfume thick as fog. She spares you a glance, faintly amused, then returns to watching. You realize this is a lesson. See how the world below lives. Understand its cost. Remember your place. Hours pass unnoticed. Shadows lengthen. The flow of labor slows. But beneath your silks, sweat beads your skin. The air presses close. Hunger gnaws again. And the truth settles in. While the city works and strives, you remain, cloaked, confined, unseen. A soft chime signals the hour. The eunuch appears. Time to leave. You take one last glance through the screen. The smith strikes his iron once more. The potter lifts a perfect jar. The child with bread vanishes into the crowd. And you turn away, returning to your world of whispers and walls. For now, picture this. The sun now hangs high, casting pale beams even through thick latticework. Another knock, another summons. You follow, obedient, curious, weary. This time the path winds deeper into the palace. Cooler here. The air smells of aged wood, old ink, and fading perfume. You pass through high-arched corridors where voices echo softly. Turkish, Persian, Arabic. Here words matter. Here decisions ripple outward like thrown stones. You are guided to an upper gallery overlooking another courtyard. A place not meant for you, yet here you are. Below, the court's machinery hums. Ottoman nobility and high officials glide through the stone-paved space. Robes of velvet and silk trail behind them. Turbans gleam with gold thread bands. Their day is not one of sweat and labor, yet it is far from idle. A group gathers beneath an ornate canopy. The Grand Vizier presides, tall, bearded, eyes sharp beneath his white turban. He speaks softly. The others lean in. Matters of empire unfold beneath the surface of their calm discourse. Taxes, treaties, rebellions. The currents that steer a vast, hungry state. Spoiler, no word spoken here is casual. Congratulations, you remain silent. Scribes scurry nearby, ink-stained fingers clutching scrolls. They record every phrase, every nod. The future will be written from these moments. A young official strides past, robes immaculate, gaze unwavering. His hands bear no calluses, but his mind is honed as any blade. Beneath an archway, judges confer. Their conversation is curt, dry. Law in the empire is both shield and weapon, applied with precision, bent when needed. You glimpse another figure, a court poet, trailing attendants. His robes are plain, his voice lyrical. Yet here beauty is political currency. Spoiler, verse can win favor or provoke ruin. Congratulations, you have no verses to recite. Beyond them, an elderly pasha sits alone beneath a fig tree. His eyes are clouded, yet he watches all, a lifetime of courtly dance etched into every gesture. A rhetorical question surfaces. Is there any safety in rank here? Answer, none, only vigilance. From the gallery, you sense the unspoken truth. This world runs on invisible balances, alliances forged in shadow, loyalties traded in whispered breath. Even now, beneath their measured words, the noblemen weigh one another. Friend, foe, pawn. The roles shift endlessly. You shift too, beneath your silk layers. The gallery grows stifling once more. A courtier enters the courtyard, bearing a gilded document. The gathered officials part like water. The vizier takes it, eyes flickering over the script. A decree, perhaps, a fate sealed with a line of ink. The air tightens. Words pass swiftly. A decision made, a man's future altered while he sips his morning sherbet. And somewhere, beyond these stone walls, others will feel the tremor. The eunuch taps your shoulder lightly. Time to go. You leave the gallery, steps careful. You carry no scrolls, no title, but you have seen enough to know. This is no gentler world than the streets below. It is sharper, colder, hungrier, and its dangers wear velvet gloves. You return to your shadowed halls, heart beating slower now. Not calmer, just wiser. Picture this. Late afternoon light slants amber through the latticework. You think, perhaps, you will be left to rest. Spoiler, you won't. Congratulations, the palace has other plans for you. The eunuch returns, face unreadable as ever. You follow again, silk whispering at your ankles. This time, beyond the palace proper. Another litter, another swaying ride. Through guarded gates, through stone streets, then sound. A rising hum of voices, footsteps, clattering hooves. The litter halts, the curtain lifts just slightly. Kapalı Çarşı, the Grand Bazaar, Istanbul's pulsing heart of commerce. You do not dismount. The veil remains drawn, but through the narrow gap, the world floods in. Here the empire breathes in silver, silk, spice, and coin. Vast vaulted halls stretch beyond sight. Arches painted in faded blue and gold. The air thick with heat, sweat, and the sharp bite of saffron and leather. Merchants cry their wares, fine carpets, damask silks, Persian jewels, spices from Hindustan. Porters weave through the crowd, backs bowed beneath towering loads. The floor thrums with constant movement. A rhetorical question stirs. Can you trust anyone here? Answer, of course not. Here deals are a dance of deception. You watch as a merchant unfurls a bolt of silk, shimmering, clouds soft. The buyer fingers it carefully, expression blank. Words pass, a price is named. The buyer scoffs, the dance begins. A smile here, a sharp word there, a feigned insult, a dramatic sigh. Minutes pass. Finally, hands clasp, the silk is sold. Both smile, both know they've lost and won in equal measure. Nearby, a tax official lingers, eyes sharp, ledger open. Spoiler, no sale escapes the Sultan's grasp. Congratulations, you owe nothing. Yet. Coins change hands beneath veils of courtesy. A wink, a nod, a smaller pouch passed beneath the counter. The official pretends not to see. Today. Elsewhere, swindlers ply their craft. A boy offers fragrant rose oil, pure for your mistress. But the bottle holds tinted water. A spice dealer blends dust with ground saffron. A jeweler's rubies bear faint cracks, artfully hidden. Yet the market thrives. Each knows the game. Each plays it willingly. Above it all, the imperial harem's litter moves slowly. Your presence, unseen yet deeply felt, sends subtle ripples through the crowd. A merchant bows low as you pass, not to you, to the power you represent. Spoiler, in this world, silk speaks louder than silver. Congratulations, you wear it well. As the procession winds deeper, the air grows denser. The scent of oud and sandalwood thickens. Here lie the jewelers, the dealers in rarest wares. Here eyes linger longer on the passing litter. Speculation stirs, whispers follow. Which favorite rides today? A new one? Foreign? The Sultan's gaze is restless this month. You sit perfectly still. To react is to invite more notice. To notice is to invite risk. A final turn, the eunuch signals the bearers. The litter halts. Through the narrow gap, you glimpse a final scene. A beggar kneels at the bazaar's edge, bowl outstretched. His eyes are bright with hunger and calculation. A passing merchant drops a single coin. A show, no more. And yet, in this world of shifting fortunes, even a coin's clang rings loud. You are carried back through the throng, through heat and scent and shouted promise. Then, cool shadow, palace gates. Your heart slows as the litter comes to rest. The curtain falls fully, and once more the harem swallows you whole. But the market's pulse lingers, vivid as the silks that brush your skin. And you will not forget it soon. Picture this. Another dawn, another veiled summons. You rise, silk rustling, breath slow. Today the palace hums with unfamiliar energy. Servants hurry, voices rise, the scent of jasmine fills the air. Something is coming. Spoiler, celebration wears many masks. Congratulations, you'll glimpse a few today. You follow again, through sun-drenched courtyards and shaded arcades. The sky above shines deep blue, mercifully clear. The procession pauses beneath an ornate gate. You are led to a screened pavilion overlooking a vast courtyard below. There, the festival begins. It is Seker Bayrami, the festival of sweets, a rare day when the palace's velvet strictures loosen, if only slightly. Below, rows of gilded tents shimmer. Silk banners flutter. Musicians gather with drums and flutes. The air vibrates with anticipation. From behind your screen, you watch as trays of confections appear. Jewel-toned lokum, flaky baklava, crisp pastries dusted with powdered sugar. Children of the court dart between the stalls, laughter ringing like chimes. Even eunuchs smile, fleeting, guarded. A rhetorical question lingers. Is joy permitted here or merely borrowed? Answer today, perhaps a little of both. The Grand Vizier arrives, robed in deepest emerald. Courtiers fan out around him. A signal is given. The musicians strike a bold rhythm. And then the spectacle. Acrobats leap and twist beneath the sun. Their bodies move with impossible grace, silks streaming behind them. Fire eaters follow, breath flaring gold and crimson. The crowd gasps, applauds. Jugglers spin blades, torches, and bright glass orbs. The air fills with motion and heat. Yet beneath the revelry lies another pulse. Gambling, in shadowed alcoves and behind closed fans. Wagers pass hand to hand. Will the acrobat land the triple somersault? Will the gray falcon outfly the hawk? Spoiler, fortunes shift faster than flames here. Congratulations, you're wise enough to keep your hands folded. Nearby, a temporary arena stands. Within, wrestlers circle, sinew and sweat glistening in the sun. The crowd roars as the first bout begins. Men grapple with brutal elegance. Each fall draws cheers, each hold a flurry of wagers. Even within the screened pavilion, sharp eyes flick toward the arena. Eunuchs murmur. Favored concubines lean forward, silks rustling. You remain still, observing, learning. Later, as shadows lengthen, trained animals perform. Sleek hunting dogs, majestic birds of prey. Each movement honed to perfection. The Sultan himself may watch unseen. His presence is a constant weight in the air. By dusk, lanterns bloom across the courtyard. The scent of roasting meats mingles with rose and cardamom. The music shifts, slower now, deeper. Dancers emerge, veiled and lithe. Their movements weave stories older than the stones beneath them. Another round of gambling begins. Which dancer will earn the Sultan's gaze? Which melody will linger longest? Spoiler: you remain unseen behind your screen. Congratulations, sometimes invisibility is a gift. As stars prick the sky, the festival's pulse slows. Laughter fades, coins are counted, wagers settled or denied. The pavilion empties. You rise, limbs aching from stillness. Yet something stirs within. A glimpse of freedom, fleeting as the dancers veils. You follow the eunuch back through darkening halls. The music echoes faintly. The scent of sweets clings to your hair. And in your heart, a single truth beats clear. Even joy here is edged with shadow, and the games of coin, of power, of life never truly end. Picture this. The festival's music has faded. The scents of honey and spice linger faintly in your narrow chamber. You expect rest. You receive a knock. Again. Spoiler: justice here does not keep gentle hours. Congratulations, you'll learn this now. The eunuch's glance is grim. You follow. Through shadowed halls, through guarded gates, the palace's warmth gives way to cooler stone. The air sharpens, metallic, cold. You enter a high-vaulted chamber. Above, carved scales of justice glimmer faintly. A hearing is underway. You are not here as a participant, only as a silent observer. But even silence carries risk. Below, a man kneels. His robes are torn. His face, hollow-eyed, defiant. The charge, theft. A rhetorical question stirs. Is guilt here a matter of proof or of power? Answer: seldom the former. The judge, a Qadi, sits enthroned in shadow. His gaze is cool, his words precise. The law of the empire flows through his voice, ancient, flexible, sharp. Witnesses speak. A merchant accuses. A servant weeps. The accused remains silent. Coins change hands unseen. Glances flicker. The outcome is already shaped. Spoiler: mercy here bends to influence. Congratulations. You owe no favors, yet. The sentence falls swift as the judges gaze. Amputation. You flinch. The accused does not. He is led away, steps steady. A eunuch whispers, a first offense. He will live. For now. The next case. Slander within the harem itself. Now your breath stills. This world is yours, fragile and unseen. Two women stand accused, faces pale, hands trembling. Whispers, lies, jealousies, threads woven into ruin. Proof? Little. Accusation alone weighs heavily. The judge listens, unmoved. The Sultan's will is not quoted, but its shadow hangs thick. The verdict: banishment to distant quarters. Spoiler: exile within walls can be worse than chains. Congratulations. Your name was not among those spoken. The hearing ends. The room empties. You follow, legs unsteady, but the eunuch does not lead you home. Not yet. Through colder corridors you walk. Down, always down. Stone narrows, torches flicker. The air thickens with damp and age. The palace prison. A place few see, fewer leave. Here law sharpens its teeth. Cells line the walls, dark, narrow, suffocating. Some lie empty, silent as tombs. Others occupied. You glimpse hollow eyes in shadow, hands clutching rusted bars. One man murmurs ceaselessly, words spilling like broken beads. Another stares blankly, face to stone. The air reeks of rot, fear, forgotten lives. A rhetorical question whispers, is this justice or spectacle? Perhaps both. You pass one cell where a nobleman crouches, beard matted, robe in tatters. His eyes meet yours. Recognition flickers, then dies. Spoiler: rank here fades swiftly in chains. Congratulations, your silk still shields you. The eunuch gestures sharply. Time to leave. You climb back toward air and light. Each step feels heavier, the shadows clinging stubbornly. By the time you reach your chamber, your breath is ragged. Your heart, slower, colder. Law here is no shield. It is a blade, wielded in silence, honed in darkness, and its reach is endless. You lie awake long after the torches dim. The scent of rosewater offers no comfort, and sleep, if it comes, brings no peace. Picture this, another restless night. You wake drenched in sweat, not from the summer's humid embrace, but from uneasy dreams. Chains, shadows, hollow eyes. Spoiler, fear is a fine teacher. Congratulations. You've learned tonight's lesson well, yet the day waits. You rise, movements slow. Silk sticks to damp skin. Your breath feels heavy, chest tight. And you are not alone in this. The harem murmurs with news. Sickness walks the palace corridors. You catch snippets, soft words behind veils. Coughing, fevers, another gone. A rhetorical question flickers. Can walls bar death? Answer. They trap it. You follow another silent summons. Today to a different chamber. Brighter, airier. A small mercy. A physician arrives, not for you, but for one of the favored women. You observe from a shadowed corner, curiosity sharper than caution. The doctor is old, eyes dark with knowledge and fatigue. His robe bears no ornament, only stains of ink, herbs, and age. He examines the patient, a young woman pale as milk. Her breath comes shallow, eyes fluttering. No stethoscope, no thermometer. The physician's tools are older, simpler. Fingers on the wrist, ear to the chest. He frowns, mutters to his assistant. A small pouch is opened. Within, dried herbs, crumbling resins, tiny glass vials. A decoction is prepared. Boiling water, bitter roots, honey to mask the taste. The sick woman drinks, trembling. Spoiler, the cure is as likely to harm as to heal. Congratulations. You drink only water today. The physician burns incense, not merely for scent, but to ward off miasmas. Foul air is the enemy, they believe. Bad humors rise from filth and damp. Windows are opened, rare, to let evil vapors flee. Servants scrub the floor with vinegar and lemon. The air sharpens, stings your nose. Yet superstition walks hand in hand with science here. Charms are hung beside the patient's bed. Blue glass eyes, silver amulets, tiny scrolls bearing protective prayers. A whispered ritual follows. The physician does not protest. Faith, fear, and medicine entwine. Another patient arrives, a child flushed with fever. The physician repeats his rites, tools, and prayers. You watch, heart heavy. The harem's beauty cannot banish frailty. A rhetorical question stirs. Does the sultan's gold buy immunity? Answer, no. Disease knows no rank. Later, a eunuch approaches you quietly. You must be examined. Resistance is useless. You comply. The physician's fingers are cool, his gaze clinical. No fever, no cough, for now. Spoiler, health is fleeting here. Congratulations. You have one more day. The palace whispers of greater fears. The plague. Black Death has stalked these streets before. Even now its shadow lingers in every tale. Old superstitions resurface. Salt scattered on thresholds. Garlic worn beneath robes. Ritual baths prepared. You pass one chamber where women sit in a circle, murmuring prayers. Candles flicker, shadows dance. Faith against fate. As evening falls, you return to your chamber. The air feels thicker, sweeter, a sign of sickness, some say. You light your own candle, not for light, for hope. And you lie awake, listening to the harem's uneasy breath. Each cough, each whispered prayer, each rustle in the dark marks another moment in this fragile dance between life and shadow. And the night has only just begun. Picture this. Morning stirs with pale light, weak as breath through a veil. You sit by the narrow window, watching slivers of sun creep across worn stone. Word comes, not a summons, but an invitation. Rare, risky, you accept. Spoiler, no one thrives alone here. Congratulations, You are beginning to understand the value of alliances. You follow a younger woman, slender, eyes sharp with the weight of knowledge beyond her years. Her steps trace unseen currents through the palace maze. The destination, a larger chamber filled with softer voices and warmer light. Here gather women of varied rank and fortune. Some cradle infants, others whisper beside curious children. Still others sit alone, their eyes distant. This is where the harem breathes differently, not through intrigue, but through fragile threads of family. A rhetorical question hums. Can bonds here be trusted? Answer. Sometimes, but never fully. You settle near the edge, watching. A girl of no more than 10 recites verses beneath her tutor's gaze. Her voice wavers, then steadies. The tutor nods, approval rare, precious. Education in the harem is privilege. Favored children, especially boys destined for power, learn languages, poetry, history. Others, less. In one corner, women embroider infant robes. Tiny stitches, endless patience. Some robes will warm princes, others, forgotten daughters. Nearby, a young mother soothes her child. Lullabies spun from half-remembered songs of distant homelands. Spoiler. The harem is a tapestry of stolen roots. Congratulations, you still remember your own name. Marriage within these walls is complex. Part politics, part fortune, part fate. Concubines may rise or vanish. Their children may gain titles or be forgotten. A child's birth can shift alliances overnight. The sultan's favor is wind and tide. You hear tales whispered behind veils of a concubine once favored, her son now a prince, of another now cloistered, her child gone. The risks are constant. Yet for many here, love blooms still, tender, defiant. You watch as a boy toddles across the carpet, arms wide. His mother catches him, laughter soft and fierce. In this moment, the harem's cold edges soften. Another rhetorical question stirs. Is love weakness here or strength? Answer. It is both. Older women guide the younger in courtly arts, in the unspoken rules of survival. Advice passes like breath. Speak less. Observe more. Trust slowly. You absorb each word, each glance. Survival is a learned art. As afternoon light fades, the gathering dissolves. You return to your chamber, heart fuller, mind sharper. Tonight, you will not be entirely alone in this place of shadows. And beneath the weight of silk and silence, something stirs, a fragile thread of hope. Spoiler, not all here lose themselves. Congratulations, you still hold fast. And the day, with all its hidden lessons, comes quietly to its end. Picture this. Evening's breath cools the narrow corridors. You expect rest. Instead, another quiet nod from the eunuch. Another path to follow. Spoiler, here domestic life is theater. Congratulations. You now have a backstage pass. You are led to the harem's heart, the service wing. No jewels here, no silks. Only labor and the relentless hum of unseen hands keeping this world intact. The air shifts, rich with the scent of spiced meat, baking bread, simmering herbs. Your stomach stirs. A rhetorical question hums. Where does the magic of the harem begin? Answer. Here, beneath sweat and flame. You pause at the kitchen's threshold. Within, controlled chaos reigns. Massive copper cauldrons bubble atop roaring fires. Steam coils upward, thick as fog. Servants dart between counters stacked with figs, nuts, saffron, lemons. A cook, broad-shouldered, eyes fierce, commands the space. His voice slices through the din. More pomegranate, no burnt edges. Spoiler, perfection feeds power here. Congratulations. Your next meal will reflect this. You are allowed a cautious step inside. The floor is slick with spilt oil. The air pulses with heat. A young girl grinds spices with steady hands. Coriander, cinnamon, black pepper. Scents bloom, heady and sharp. Nearby, a line of bakers tends great clay ovens. Pied rounds puff golden, delicate pastries crisp beneath watchful eyes. Another servant stirs a vat of stewed lamb, rich with prunes and almonds. The aroma curls around your senses. You learn, the Sultan's table commands an empire's bounty. Fruits from Damascus, rice from Egypt, rare fish from the Black Sea. Yet each dish must sing with balance, taste, texture, scent, color. The eye eats first. A rhetorical question stirs. Who holds more power, the poet or the cook? Answer. Here the answer shifts with each meal. Household management is an art of its own. Senior concubines oversee inventories, spices, fabrics, oils. Ledgers brim with looping script. A missing jar of saffron sparks whispered inquiry. Every item, from rosewater to sandalwood, is counted, weighed, noted. Waste is punished. Theft, more so. Laundry steams in a side chamber. Silks soak in cool, perfumed water. Linens are beaten smooth with wooden paddles. The air there smells of lavender and lye. In the sewing rooms, nimble fingers mend torn hems, stitch new robes, embellish veils with fine gold thread. Each piece carries unseen stories, ambition, favor, fear, and always, the quiet pulse of hierarchy hums beneath the work. Who serves whom? Who answers to whom? Who listens at whose door? You linger at the kitchen's edge, absorbing every detail. The cook notices, a sharp glance, then a curt nod. You are marked, an observer, perhaps useful, perhaps not. Spoiler, alliances can simmer as swiftly as broths. Congratulations, you may have stirred one now. As night deepens, trays are prepared, layered with care, destined for unseen hands. A final platter holds candied quinces, their jeweled sheen catching the torchlight. You watch it vanish through a side door. Then, with a final nod, the eunuch guides you back. The kitchen's heat fades, the spice-laden air clings to your robe, your hair, and as you slip once more into your narrow chamber, one truth lingers. Here, even the simplest act, a meal, a stitch, a ledger entry, carries weight. And in these small, steady rhythms, the harem breathes its life. Picture this. Night swells beyond the palace walls. You lie restless, silk tangled at your feet. The air remains heavy, tasting of spent spices and lingering smoke. Then an unexpected word. Come. The eunuch's tone allows no refusal. You rise, spoiler. Some nights twist in ways no day dares. Congratulations, you are about to see one. You are guided through seldom trod halls, past guards whose gazes flicker with the knowledge of things unsaid. Tonight, the Sultan grants rare liberty. A small, cloaked procession of women, heavily veiled, will leave the palace. Not openly, not boldly, but enough. You are among them. A litter awaits, its curtains drawn thick. You climb in, breath shallow, through gates that groan in protest, out into the living city. Istanbul at night is another world. A rhetorical question stirs. When does a city truly breathe? Answer. When shadows fall. You glimpse it through fleeting gaps, narrow streets slick with rain, lanterns bobbing like ghostly eyes. The litter stops. You dismount beneath a low awning. A side door opens. No grand entrance here. Inside, a private tavern, reserved for those whose coin or power secures discretion. The air within hums low, thick with smoke and murmured laughter. Oil lamps cast trembling halos across aged beams. Merchants, courtiers, foreign envoys, faces half hidden, hands restless on cups of dark wine. You are led to a shadowed alcove. Veils remain, silence is your shield. A tray arrives, dates, nuts, sugared fruits, a slender carafe of ruby liquid. Spoiler, indulgence here is double-edged. Congratulations, you sip cautiously. Music stirs from a corner. Lute and ney weaving soft, sinuous melodies. The players never lift their eyes. At another table, dice clatter. Coins exchange hands with practiced grace. A merchant curses in Venetian, quickly masked by laughter. Elsewhere, a poet recites in Persian, verses rich with longing and loss. The room stills briefly, spellbound. Yet beneath the veneer of revelry, currents swirl. Deals born in whispers. Favors promised. Debts remembered. A rhetorical question stirs. Who governs the night? Answer. Those who listen best. You watch and learn. In this space, words wield more weight than blades. Later, cloaked figures slip in. Newsbearers, spies, seekers of influence. Even the Sultan's reach is tested here. Spoiler. You are wise enough to remain an observer. Congratulations. Curiosity remains your ally, not your undoing. Time drifts. The tavern breathes in cycles. Laughter, silence, the clink of coin, the hush of shared secrets. Outside, the city's pulse softens. Market stalls sleep beneath rough cloth. Cats prowl with silent grace. The sea murmurs beyond stone and shadow. A final cup is poured, strong, bitter. You sip slowly, gaze lowered. Then, the signal. Time to return. Veils drawn, heads bowed. Your small procession fades once more into the waiting litter. The ride back is slower, the city's breath grown soft and deep. Lanterns flicker at shuttered windows. A lone call to prayer drifts across the water, haunting and low. You close your eyes briefly, and when the palace gates groan open once more, the night feels thinner, a fragile veil over countless unseen lives. You slip through shadowed halls, silk whispering against cold stone, and as your chamber door closes behind you, one truth settles deep. The night holds no fewer dangers than the day. But here, as everywhere, knowledge is survival, and tonight you have gained a little more. Picture this. Dawn stirs once more, a gray breath through stone and lattice. You sit by the narrow window, pulse slow but steady. The palace murmurs with soft footfalls. The harem's pulse quiets. For now. Today, a rare thing happens. An older woman, robes faded, gaze clear, beckons you aside. Spoiler, wisdom is seldom gifted here. Congratulations, you've earned a measure of it. She leads you to a shaded corner of the baths, now cool and empty. Her voice is low, each word shaped by years unseen. You seek to last here. Listen then. You do. First, speak less. Words here are double-edged. The less you say, the fewer blades you sharpen. A rhetorical question stirs. Can silence shield you? Answer, often. Sometimes it saves you. Second, observe. Eyes reveal more than mouths. Watch how robes shift, how gazes linger or slide away. See who walks boldly, who shrinks. Third, choose your alliances slowly. Friendships here wear masks. Trust builds grain by grain and can shatter like thin glass. Spoiler, haste feeds ruin. Congratulations. Patience begins to root in you. Fourth, tend to your body. Sickness takes many before ambition does. Wash when you can, rest when allowed. Eat with care, honey soothes, mint clears the head. The old woman's fingers trace faint scars upon her wrist, reminders of lessons paid in blood and breath. Fifth, honor the servants. They see all, they speak quietly, earn their goodwill through respect, not favor. A clean towel, a kind word, a well-timed silence. Sixth, remember names, not only the powerful. Know the washerwoman's child, the baker's apprentice. In times of need, small kindnesses return tenfold. Seventh, guard your heart. Affection is rare treasure here, and a blade in the wrong hands. Cherish quietly, protect fiercely, never flaunt. A rhetorical question hums, is love worth the risk? Answer, only you will know. Eighth, learn the tides. The Sultan's favor shifts with wind and whim. Do not anchor yourself to any single current. adapt, drift when needed. Spoiler: survival is an art of yielding. Congratulations, your canvas is not yet full. The old woman leans closer. Finally, when you doubt all else, remember this. You are more than silk and shadow. Your mind, your gaze, your memory. No one can steal these. She rises. The lesson ends. You bow, not in deference, but in quiet gratitude. The day unfolds beyond the lattice. Voices rise once more, but you move now with slower breath, sharper eyes. Each step a thread woven into the unseen tapestry of your survival. And within your heart, the old woman's words settle deep, solid as stone beneath silk. Picture this. Another night descends. Deeper than silk, softer than breath. You lie beneath thin linen, eyes open to the dim painted ceiling. Stars traced in faded gold watch in silence. The harem sleeps, or pretends to. Somewhere a low cough, the shuffle of bare feet, a soft sob muffled against pillows. Spoiler: not all battles here are fought in daylight. Congratulations, you have learned this well. You breathe slowly. The air carries layers, rose, old wood, faint sickness. Each breath threads memory with resolve. A rhetorical question stirs. Have you changed? Answer: undeniably. You recall your first steps here, lost, raw, drowning in unspoken rules. Now, you listen deeper, watch sharper, move slower. You have seen feasts and famine, joy laced with poison, silk masking steel. You have tasted fear in cool corridors, heard justice spoken with stone-cold breath, felt the heat of hidden kitchens, the fragile warmth of whispered friendship, watched life's bright flicker in a sick child's gaze, heard the hollow laughter of those gambling with fate. You know now, the harem is not merely a prison, nor simply a palace. It is a world entire, breathing, bleeding, dreaming beneath the sultan's gaze. And you endure. Another rhetorical whisper. Will you last another day? Answer: perhaps, but now you know how. You shift beneath the linen. The ceiling's gold stars seem nearer. Somewhere beyond these stone ribs, Istanbul stirs, taverns humming, ships rocking against dark water. The moon traces slow arcs beyond your reach. A final spoiler. Dawn will come. Congratulations. You will meet it wiser. You close your eyes, breath slows, muscles soften, and as sleep edges closer, a last thought anchors you. You are still here, and for now, that is enough. Good night.